Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air. Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. So glad you guys are with us. We got a great show for you. Lots to get to today. We're super hyper local. Just a lot of great national stories out there that we want to comment on and hit. So we'll get to all that stuff. The Rays, what's going on with their roster. I'm going to make a mass appeal for a huge roster shakeup. Nick Geddes will check me on all of this. So we'll get to that. We're going to do some Bucks talk today. I got a poll question out there. Who do you think is going to be the biggest impact of all the rookie draft picks or the rookies in general? Go to our X machine there and vote on the poll there. So we'll get into some Bucks talk as well. We're going to talk NASCAR. We're going to talk NBA, some Game 7s yesterday. We're going to talk hockey. We're going to talk golf. We're going to talk Florida State football. Mike Norvell was in town yesterday. Lots to get to. So good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, I don't even know if you even cover it all. There's just so much going on. I mean, that's what I want to before we even get into your monologue and what we start with here, just a round of applause for sports.
Yeah.
Shout out to sports because the NFL is not in session right now.
Yeah.
Right. And this is usually the dead time of the calendar where it's just like, let's get to August. Let's get to August. I feel like every weekend I look at the schedule and specifically on Sundays lately. Yeah. And I go, holy hell.
What am I going to do?
Like, I don't have enough screens. I don't have enough screens. Everything's on different streaming devices, and I don't have that's, by the way, quick rant. Can we make a last button to bounce around from what I was watching on this streaming thing to this streaming? Can we just make that universal button, please?
Yes.
Because that makes it very, very difficult.
I love watching stuff on my Spectrum here just for that reason. I got my last button. So I go boom, 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 boom. But with streaming, you got to go back to the guide, and the circle of death.
Because there's so many things on, like I obviously have to have I just have to go to the streaming devices to like have all these screens going. But I only got so much I can work with.
How is it with all this improved technology and streaming? It is harder to watch sports. No question. Harder and more expensive. I saw an article this weekend that said now, because you now need Netflix to watch the Christmas games, right? So if you add Netflix, Peacock, Amazon, YouTube TV, if you're watching your locals, right? So your general, whatever streaming service you're using to watch all your shows. What else? And then Sunday Ticket, add Sunday Ticket if you want that too. So if you really want to watch all the NFL games, because you need NFL Network, it's going to cost you $1,000 out of pocket for 6 months to watch the NFL. And when it used to be free, it used to be completely free to watch. You didn't need to stream anything, right? Every NFL game was broadcast over the air, free. Now it's going to cost you $1,000.
Well, we are getting we are getting the ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Mac or something. No, Venu Sports. My bad.
Venu Sports. What the hell is
Venu Sports? They announced this last week. ESPN, Fox Sports. It's a new platform combining ESPN, Fox Sports, and TNT that is coming later this year, and they're calling it Venu Sports. We're going to get all of the content from ESPN networks, Fox Sports networks, and TNT Sports networks all on one device or one platform.
And the other part about streaming devices is, because I'm a big rewind guy. I'm a big rewind. Oh, what just happened? I want to watch that again because we're going to talk about this. You want to get the full perspective. You try to freaking rewind on streaming services, it takes hours. When you had the old DVR, like the physical DVR, you could, and you're right back to it. You could skip back during the commercials, come back to it. So much easier. God, it's mind-numbing what you have to do now.
Right.
Anyway, bit section there. We had to get out there. Can somebody come up with a sports package that just makes that I get a DVR that works? I get my streaming services. I mean, you make it be a gold mine, be a freaking gold mine. But I guess they want us to have all this different shit.
But they're doing all this thing, like I just told you with the Venu Sports.
Yeah.
They're starting to combine some of them, which is basically just the new advent of cable, right?
Let's go. Let's go. I mean, well, how long have we said this, Nick? Like, here we are in 2024, and we still don't have basically a la carte. I guess it's more a la carte than it used to be. But can I just I watch 10 freaking channels. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I watch.
They advertise
I don't need 500 channels.
They advertise Sling and Fubu and all those things, but like you still got to pick like 40
paying
channels.
For the Housewives of Orange County.
That's what I'm saying. You still got to pick like a minimum amount of channels that they give you.
Yeah. No, I don't care. Don't want. Why am I paying? I don't even want to subsidize the Housewives of Orange County. It's the worst thing I want to do. I mean, my 600-pound life. Who cares? Seriously? Who wants to watch that? Anyway, I digress. But what I don't want to watch is ESPN's pregame shows or anything to do with the New York Knicks. ESPN now has ruined my love for the New York Knicks. Because
a week ago we were hyping them up.
I know.
And then within a week, ESPN did their best. 1 week. Yeah. Within a week, ESPN did their best to make me like not root for them to lose necessarily, but just be like, damn, like I've had enough. I've had enough.
Yeah. It's almost like I was like, yeah, I really do. I'm rooting for the Knicks. And then after all this biased coverage, you're like, if the Knicks get really good, we're going to have to put up with this. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. Right? ESPN can ruin anything within moments. Would you
make everything so uncool?
Well, you were telling me because I didn't watch the whole broadcast. I was, I'm popped because there's so much to watch. I'm watching PGA. I'm watching a lot of other things. Got life to do, and so they did like Stephen A. Smith's out there doing pep talks now in his cream suit.
Oh my goodness! It's like they're showing him. They show Tyrese Halliburton entering the Garden. They show Jalen Brunson entering the Garden, and then the third one they show is Stephen A. Smith in an all cream suit with his aviators on, where some satchel across his chest, walking into the Garden, going up to everybody and saying, "What's up, man? What's up, man?" Like as if he's on the team. And then they're showing him making the walk down the court and everything. And then they ask him to give a pep talk to the Knicks while he's on the sideline, literally feet away from the Pacers players warming up before the game. He's got Spike Lee coming into his shot. Huh?
Who asked him to give a pep talk to the Knicks?
Malik Andrews from the studio. Was like, one last final pep talk for your Knicks tonight or today. And he goes on, he starts yelling and doing Stephen A. and everything. He brings Spike Lee in, and I'm just like, man, like there's another team playing today. I'm just saying.
Is that why Sage Steele was wearing her Pacers gear and going all Pacers on maybe? Yeah. I mean, look, I guess with as much money as they're paying Stephen A., they got to promote him as much as possible because, Pat McAfee's tripling his ratings, and they got to make sure that Stephen A. is getting his promotion. By the way, I just saw his new promo with him shooting pool. With ESPN bet, and he's like, he makes the balls like 2 inches away from the corner pocket, like anybody, like my drunk ass can make that shot. And he knocks it in, and the guy goes, "Yeah, we're stripes." He goes, "I'm Stephen A. I make my own rules." Oh, you do you?
It's like I can take it, but it's just over the top everywhere. Yeah. And what makes me upset about it is we're about to be stuck with this because TNT is probably losing the NBA package, and we're going to lose the greatest pregame show in the history of pregame shows, and we're going to be stuck with this.
Nah, I think they'll just migrate over to NBC or wherever.
Well, Ernie Johnson's not going to go though. That's the problem. Like Charles Barkley's going to go because he has an out in his contract that he can go if the NBA lost the package. But Ernie Johnson's not going to go, and I'm sorry. One of them not being there is enough for me for it not to be the same, and he's the glue to that show. So,
yeah.
Although I will say, if it means we get the NBC,
glue, but
he's the glue. But if it means we get the NBC, but if we get the old NBC nostalgic song, the NBA song back, that's going to be great.
Oh yeah. I do like that. Yeah. So who's going to be the point person? Who'll be running?
I don't know who
they
NBC's
bring over
people,
Charles and Shaq and Kenny.
I don't know who NBC's people really are, though.
Not that Nathan or McHugh guy. No, anybody.
Liam McHugh. I don't know. He's on TNT though now. He's on TNT.
He's okay. Who would it be? Would it be Tirico?
Tirico, maybe.
Tirico would be great. Tirico would be great.
We can stroll Bob Costas back out there.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no. Please do not. No. Can't stomach that. Cannot stomach that. But anyway, we digress. Let's get to the Rays here. Kind of a downer to the end of a really good road trip, a 5-2 road trip. You lose yesterday to Savali. Again, is pedestrian at best. He's been awful. I'm only going to call him pedestrian. He's been awful. 0-3 with a 7.79 ERA. Started, the first 3 games were not bad, but the 7th start without a win for the where he doesn't get the win. The Rays are 2-5 in those starts. He can't get through the 6th inning. Can't get through the 5th inning most of the time. And once again, they face a pitcher who's on his game and a good one in Manoah, and they get 1 hit through 7 innings, barely scratch. It's, it really gave you a bad taste about a pretty damn good road trip. They go 5-2 on the road trip, win both series. Now they've won 11 of their last 16 games.
Yep.
And they're obviously starting to trend in the right direction. But I'm here to say, Nick Geddes, we need a makeover. We need a makeover of this roster.
Interesting.
Yes. We got young guys. The Athletic yesterday, number 2 player that should be brought up, Junior Caminero. I get the whole. He's not in a position as maybe a month ago that he would have to be the savior. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah,
I think that's a big difference. Brandon Lau's coming back. I'm done with Brandon Lau. I'm done with Harold Ramirez. I love the blue hair. Love everything about the dude. Nice guy. Really cool. You're a right-handed designated hitter that doesn't do much else.
Doesn't hit for power.
Doesn't hit for power. You just, we're done. We're done with that. We got, fast athletic guys in DeLuca, Palacios. I mean, this is a team that can be very athletic, and get some more power into it as well. If we just go ahead and make some moves and cut bait. Well, and I know you're going to hit me with this. Harold Ramirez makes what? $3.8 million. If you DFA him, you got to eat the whole thing. Well, you're going to have to pay him anyway. So why pay him and also pay at the pump, so to speak, and keep putting him on?
Unless there's somebody out there who wants him. I mean, it's not like he has 0 trade value. Like, you would just be doing it as basically a salary dump just to get a low-level prospect and move on.
Yeah, we're still gonna have to pay him.
Still got to pay him.
Yeah. So you're bringing in a minimum salary guy in a Junior Caminero if that's where you go. But I would get rid of Siri. I would get rid of Brandon Lau. I would get rid of Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds.
We've talked too much about broadcasting already.
Right, exactly. I just, that guy, that guard, I'm done with it. Let's bring in some new blood. We got a lot of good players at AAA. I don't care if they're not ready yet. Bring them up and infuse some life into this team. We don't know they're ready until they get up here. Aranda, he for some reason cannot figure it out at the major league level. Doesn't have enough at bats yet. So I'm not going
to be fair to Jonathan Aranda. And this is this argument to me, I push back on it sometimes, but I've been watching all his at bats very closely. He's hitting the ball really hard. and sometimes it's just a case of he's hitting it right to guys.
Yeah.
Like yesterday,
he does that like ever since he's been called up. Or has he come to the majors?
But even this year, though, like, he's been different. Like, and by the way, they're trying their best to get everything out of him, because notice he's hitting cleanup in your lineup right now. They have him hitting cleanup. And like, he laced one yesterday to the track on a line off Manoah with like his second at bat of the game. And of course, Varsho is like turned around and everything and makes the catch. Like, that summed up Jonathan Aranda so far, but he's had some hits. So sending him down to AAA does nothing for him.
I'm not giving up on him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point of sending him to AAA? Because he's going to go out and be like the best player in the International League. Right. But we get that already.
No, I say keep him up here. He's part of the future, or can be part of the future.
Right. He's got to play. He's got to play. So I don't think he goes down today when Brandon Lau's activated. Harold Ramirez is the most obvious one. He just is. Like, and I love Harold, by the way. I hate this because we talk a lot about like those guys you want to have in your clubhouse. Harold Ramirez is one of those guys I want to have in my clubhouse. That's what makes it very difficult. It's just there's just not room. There's just not room for it. I wish it's like the thing, like, man, I wish I had 27 spots just so I could have Harold Ramirez in my clubhouse. But
listen, I'm not smart enough to know who's out there and what's out there, but Eric Neander is. And if I can package up Aaron Savali, Brandon Lau, Jose Siri.
Well, Savali's an easier one to deal with. You can't send.
If I could get rid of those guys and get some new blood in and remake this whole roster, that's where I would go. I don't want to send Tyler Alexander down. He's freaking pitched.
No, Tyler Alexander, I thought was like on the chopping block, obviously.
Yeah,
and then he goes out and pitches,
coming up. Yeah.
Right, and then he goes out and pitches that game, and now it's a little bit more difficult. But I actually think,
how do you keep Savali in the rotation and
I think
Tyler Alexander down?
I think you send Savali down because Savali has options still.
Get him down.
You can send him down, and not like as a permanent thing necessarily. You don't have to make it permanent. It's just, hey, let's go back down to AAA. Let's start from scratch a little bit. Let's, listen, the Blue Jays had to do it with Manoah for a while.
That's right. Okay?
And now you're starting to see Alek Manoah obviously come back to life a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Send Savali down for a month and a half, whatever it takes to try to get him right. But for right now, send him there. Bring Pepio up. Alexander can have some run here for a little bit. He can always be your long relief guy, lefty in the bullpen if need be. I think he's got some more versatility there than Aaron Savali does right now, because Savali, if you go back to April 21st, the ERA since then is over 8.
Yeah.
It's like 8.87 or something like that.
And Jeffrey Springs is going to be back soon, too.
He's going to be back soon. By the way, this is not overreacting over this sample size, because last year with the Rays in 10 starts, the ERA was 5.36. 10 starts this year, the ERA is 5.92. He leads the league in the most earned runs given up and the most home runs given up. The stuff is just not good.
Yeah.
For Aaron Savali.
It's never been good. I mean, since the day he came here, I'm like, boy, the numbers look good at Cleveland, but man, his just stuff doesn't impress.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at Taj Bradley, you look at all these other guys, and you look at their stuff, and you're like, oh, that's good stuff. And even though Bradley's numbers weren't there last year, the stuff was really good. And you watch the games, you're like, man, he gives up a couple walks and he just loses it. He'll fix that. He's got the stuff. With Savali, I just see meh. I just see nothing but meh. I know you don't want to give up on him because they keep pointing to some numbers, the analytics numbers that are pretty good. It's a pretty damn big sample size at this point. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
No, I don't either. And like I said, I think because of the fact he has options, I think that one makes it a little bit easier to send him down.
I agree.
I mean, also too, I don't know what they want to do with versatility in regards to how many pitchers they want to keep on the roster, but like, Erasmo Ramirez has been up for a while, and I gotta tip my cap to Erasmo, because he's sort of been the sacrificial lamb sometimes. Yeah. Like when games get out of hand, it's like, Erasmo, go give us 3 innings, just do your thing. But he actually has had to come in some leverage spots lately. Yeah, and
like he's done a bang up last week.
When Cash screwed up last week, and he's actually done a bang up job. But we know that Erasmo Ramirez is not long for this major league roster. So eventually he's going to get moved down as well. So some of those things will work themselves out. But yeah, but back to the lineup though, it's like even Ahmed Rosario, I thought he was just going to be a temporary stopgap, but guess what? He's hitting 300.
He's back.
You can't DFA him.
Dip, but you cannot.
You just can't DFA him.
No, he's one of the few guys that has some pop. You got to keep him up.
Yeah, DeLuca has been so good since he's came up. You can't send him down.
Yes.
This is not a bad problem, by the way. Not a bad problem whatsoever, because remember 2-3 weeks ago, this lineup was showing no signs of life whatsoever. And give them credit, they've battled their way back with this stretch that they've been on. And they sit here today, if you can believe it, holding a wild card spot in the American League.
I know. But Brandon Lau's coming back. Oh, and it's like an absolute, well, he's got to be back. Why? Junior Chamanero's been playing second and third at Durham. I mean, Brandon Lau, so what are we bringing him back for? Because he had 39 home runs 75 years ago. He's damaged goods. You can never count on him. Good dude, has had some big hits in the history here. When he's hot, he can carry your team. But you just can't. It's just time to move on. It's just time to move on. Caminero, second on Jim Bowden's list at The Athletic for prospects worthy of promotion. Let's go. Let's go.
Maybe this is his last shot. It's him coming back up here now.
Well, I'm saying I'm done. I'm done. He may go somewhere else and get hot, but there's not going to be any long-term production from this guy. It's just not. And I don't know. I just it's bad. You hate to give up on guys that have had really, really carried you at times, but because they could get, he could go on a healthy stretch and be really, really good. Like,
I hope he does, by the way. It helps the Rays out a ton to have his bat. When I'm not going to debate you on this. When Brandon Lau is going, when he's healthy, obviously he's that big guy in the order. It's just not often.
Yeah.
It's just not often.
And there are times when he's up that he goes into prolonged slumps.
Right.
I mean, he's good for 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's either injured
he's just
he's down.
He's just a very polarizing player. He really is.
Yeah.
But they need somebody because Yandy's starting to get it going again.
Yep.
He got on base 5 times on Saturday.
Yep.
But Randy, I mean, he's had some great moments lately, but Randy Arozarena, they're very few and far between. He's still not He's still not Randy Arozarena. He's hitting 160 and he's still hitting second in your lineup every day. Which I think I don't like that at all.
No, you've got to get him out of there. I mean,
but they still need more pop in the lineup. End of story. They need guys that can hit home runs and get extra base hits and everything.
Well, yeah.
I mean, who's the home run leader outside of Paredes? I mean, where's the drop off?
No.
Who's if outside of Paredes, who's got 9 home runs right now? He'll be an all-star this year probably. Where's the drop off after that? Who's the next leading guy in home runs? Is it Palacios with 4?
Probably. Or Rosario, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's Palacio with 4.
Yeah, I mean,
Randy, I guess Randy's got because most of his hits are home runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, 160 to me negates that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. And here we sit in a wild card spot, right?
That's the most amazing part is they've played their C+ game.
Yes, maybe C-, maybe C-. So that's why I'm saying this is a time when you could bring up Caminero and he's not going to be looked at as the savior. I don't think, but I want to move on. I want to remake this roster in a time when we can. Let's cut bait. Don't worry about Siri. I think Siri's bad for the culture anyway. I think, I just want to remake the roster and go with some younger guys that have some pop. And I know Siri has pop, but it's all or nothing with that dude. And a lot of them are not meaningful home runs. You go back to last year.
The thing with Siri is he gives you the thing with Siri is somebody's got to occupy that. And I guess Palacios is doing that too, to an extent. Rosario can play the outfield as well, but I think they like having him on. I think they like having him on the roster for guy that could come in and pinch run and things like that, and can spell DeLuca at times and stuff. I mean. So I don't think it's as cut and dry as hey, they want to move on from Jose Siri as much as we're saying it.
Yeah.
But again, somebody's got to go. So
yeah, that's the thing. Somebody's got and a couple guys got to go. Really, if you want to bring up Caminero, a couple guys got to go. And I think Caminero is ready to go. I think he would add some jolt and some power. You need some power in this lineup, bro. You got to have somebody with pop. And maybe if you can bring Caminero up, you can slide Randy down and maybe he can get some confidence, maybe see some more fastballs lower in the order. But I mean, right now it's just you keep putting that humongous hole in the middle of the key part of your lineup. It's going to keep costing you. And I think they need to make some dramatic moves here. If I were in Neander and if I could package up a bunch of those guys, but it always comes back to money. What have we invested in these guys? How much do we have to pay them? Who are we getting back? How much do they make? He's completely handcuffed. That's why it's hard to do deals like this for the Rays, because he's completely handcuffed.
Well, what's interesting? What's interesting? Not a name we haven't even brought up here. You know who's apparently being watched right now by the Atlanta Braves, according to the report yesterday, is Zach Eflin. The Braves are apparently interested in Zach Eflin, which is interesting because, listen, has Zach Eflin pitched like an ace this year, like they thought he should, they thought he would rather? No, he is not. He's pitched more like a 3 to a 4, if I'm being completely honest about Zach Eflin. Yeah. And again, I hate to bring up money because it shouldn't matter, but you know that it does with this team. He's making a lot of money by the standard of the Rays. And the Braves, money's no object to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I want to trade Zach Eflin, but hey,
what could you get back?
And I don't know how the Braves farm system looks necessarily. From what I understand, it's a little bit depleted in recent years.
I want a major leaguer.
But
I want a major leaguer. And they got a lot of good ones. They have an embarrassment of riches, the Braves do, in position players and guys with pop.
Right. I'd hear out a conversation.
My ears are wide open.
Yeah, I hear out a conversation for it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, my ears are. You got Jeffrey Springs coming back, and probably Rasmussen. Yeah, and you get a log jam right now, and with Pepio coming back. Are you?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Bradley.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, because I think Bradley, the future of your rotation right now, as it pertains to later on this year, is Bradley, Pepio, Littell. Obviously, he's a bulldog. Mm-hmm. And then Springs hopefully coming back here soon.
Yeah.
And then that fifth spot's kind of like up for grabs, I think, at the moment.
And if you could find a young, dynamic power player, and trade a starter like Eflin, because Eflin could go there and be a really key piece for them. And so you're going to get value back, and they got a lot of good position players.
Give us Charlie Morton back, damn it.
I'll take him. But he costs way too much. Way too much. All right. So there's your Rays stuff. You guys want to chew on that? I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you would remake this roster. But even though they've climbed to within that spot, I want to see new blood, kind of a new culture on this team, because they're still playing a lot of shoddy baseball.
The base running on this team is horrific.
It's so bad. Yeah,
horrific.
It's so bad.
And not necessarily like stealing bases. Like I think they lead the AL in that. I just mean like situational base running on this team is just totally non-existent. Yeah. It's totally non-existent. And to what happened last week with Kevin Cash, that's the most uncharacteristic part of the season that I have yet to figure out.
Is it
the coaching on this team this year?
Yeah, it's been bad.
It is uncharacteristic for Kevin Cash. I mean, I just haven't seen this before.
No,
out of them. That's usually a strength, and I think that's been a little bit of an issue for them. That's
what I'm saying is, like, when I talk about the culture of this team, because the manager didn't get stupid suddenly. It's weird, but it seems like he's making a lot of basic mistakes. The first and third and extra innings the other night, bring the infield in. I'm still not over that. And the fact that your team in that situation didn't execute correctly. Not that that's directly on the manager, but the indecision. Maybe there were a lot of people going, why do we have the infield in? Where am I going with this ball? This is weird. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you don't execute in that key moment, you lose a game that you should not have lost. That game should have been over. Double play, we're out. Boom. Sweep the Red Sox. That's a big deal, especially with the Red Sox at the end of the season. That's a 2-game swing in a just a brain fart situation by the manager, by the pitcher, by everybody. Can't happen. And then you lose track of your mound visits, and you got to what if they lose that game too? What if they lose that game? That's 2 games that you threw away because the manager wasn't on top of it.
Right. Right.
That totally changes the narrative. And it's not, they didn't lose it. Well, okay. Yeah. So you got a ground ball back to the pitcher. What if he squares that up a little bit more and it gets through the middle? You lose the game. I mean, and you're like, that's a game you never should have come close to losing. So, there's been a lot of uncharacteristically bad mental mistakes, base running, terrible defense. When have you seen a Rays team this bad defensively?
I know. It's like I can't figure out that's what I'm saying. I can't figure out what they are and how they're winning games like at the rate that they are right now.
No.
Because they don't hit for power. They're probably average defensively. They're below average on the base path.
Defensively.
There you go. They're bad defensively. They're bad on the base paths. They don't hit for power.
That's why I'm saying roster makeover. As much as I can
it's just very interesting how they're piecing it together.
Yeah.
But at least the bullpen. I mean, shout out to the bullpen. At least has turned itself around. And the way Clevenger, Adam, and Fairbanks are pitching right now.
That's
holy moly.
That's
man.
lights out.
That's 7, 8, and 9. Or any of those guys can give you a save.
Well, that's the reason you went on this 11 to 15 run, really. A lot of it. And you started to hit the ball a little bit, get a couple of hits in key situations. But
the lineup is going to start looking heavier if they get Caminero up, because you can put out Yandy, Paredes, Caminero, Josh Lowe, Richie Palacios, obviously, Johnny DeLuca, Randy, if he ever gets it going. Like the lineup on paper is almost sounding a little bit more heavier now.
Yeah. Recon Scout, good morning to all you commenters. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much. Recon Scout says there's no beating the Orioles. Let's see the young guys blow it up. I'm with you, bro.
I'm not going to blow it up. I mean, they're in a wild card spot. And I think they'll probably will sneak into the playoffs, but to your point, I don't think anybody's beating the Orioles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Good morning to you, Nick, Nathan Elliott. Good to see you. Recon Scout says trade him in terms of Brandon Lau. And yeah, Eflin is praying for the trade to the Braves, probably. Lonnie Wilkins says there's a lot of mediocre talent flooding Major League Baseball rosters right now. When you look around the league, the nerds hate batting average, but the league average continues to plummet. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm still if there's one thing I don't like about, I love the athleticism of modern Major League Baseball. It's fantastic. I love the athleticism, the power, and everything. What I hate is this transfixion with power and just absolutely ignoring batting average and on-base percentage and these things. I think baseball is so much better, and you score more runs when you have table setters. And with table setters are just not even hardly a part of baseball anymore. Get me a Pete Rose, get me a Rod Carew, get me a Tony Gwynn, get me guys that just get on base and consistently make contact, make things happen, make the other team play defense instead of just freaking striking out all the damn time. You can give me all the analytics you want. I don't think it's good baseball. And I don't think it produces more runs. I don't. That the Recon Scout says, don't worry, JP, Lowe will land on the IL again. I know, but you're still you keep keeping spots alive for him. We're waiting for him. Let's get a stopgap. No, let's move on. They're desperate for home runs, aren't they? Aren't they ever? The Rays have been better since they took photos with black porn stars at the Drop. I have no idea what you're talking about, Lonnie, but I'm intrigued. What's he talking about?
I don't know how this happened. I really don't want to spend too much time on it. There was a male porn star who somehow was on the field during the last series against the Yankees, I believe it was, wearing his
credentialed.
No, he was does that count as a celebrity? I don't know.
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact,
he was on the field before the game wearing his City Connect jersey, which said the word blacked on it. And he was taking pictures with Jason Adam, of all people, posting it on, and Jason Adam, I think, posted it on his Instagram story.
How did this get by me? Where
I'm surprised this got by you. It was all over Twitter, but
when did this happen?
This happened in the Yankee series, I think.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
And that was everybody was okay with. Well, I don't.
I don't think everybody was okay with it. It was more like, what is going on here? This is weird. How is he on the field? Why is Jason Adam taking pictures with him, of all people?
Listen, inclusivity is very big for the Rays.
I don't know.
They are very, very big on, because they're going to tell you every chance they get, Nick, they're going to let you know how inclusive they are and how wonderful and altruistic they are. They're going to let you know that. So maybe this was an attempt to be inclusive. I don't know what you got against black porn stars, Nick, but, you better get over it. That's all I'm saying.
I have no further comments on the subject.
You're not being very inclusive. You gotta love everybody, man. That's the way I am. Love everybody. Yeah. Well, good on you, Jason Adam. Good on you. And by the way, if that's what motivated.
I hate that I'm sitting here and I'm just bracing for what you're going to say on this subject. And I clearly want no part of it.
Really? Hey, the bats were getting bigger, no doubt about it. Okay. They're starting to swing the big bat.
Okay.
Since he came around, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It must have had an effect. Nick wants me to put this up so quickly so we can move on. I think you're actually blushing. Cubs couldn't get my department staff shirts because it didn't fit the budget this season. Yikes. Can you imagine that? You imagine like a Major League Baseball team. Like you're paying players. Like I haven't gone through the Cubs roster recently, but I'm sure they're paying some stiff like $14 million to do nothing. $14 million. It's literally like $500 for staff shirts, like $500, maybe $750 for the staff to get shirts. And you're like, oh, so we can't afford that.
They're paying. I have this one. I have this one memorized. God. They're paying Dansby Swanson.
There you go.
What's it? He's hitting 209 this year, by the way, with like 12 runs batted in. And they're paying him a contract worth $177 million over 7 years.
Nice. But we don't have money for the shirts. We don't have money for shirts for the staff. Man, we got issues in this wealth gap. It's really a thing. It's not good. All right, we will take our first break. We got so much more to get to. We got to get to the PGA. We got some Buck stuff we want to talk about. Tragedy in the USF family, which is just a heartbreaking story on that one. We'll get to the hockey as well. All kinds of good stuff we got to get to. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves and his army of attorneys will help you out, folks. If you get in an accident, you want to go with a local firm who knows the local landscape here and can get results. They're trusted, they're local, and they get results. That's the Jeeves Law Group. Just go to their website, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and just contact them through there. Get a free case evaluation if you have an issue with a home builder, for a sense, like you might have. If you have an issue with an insurance company, if you have an issue with anybody that you need legal representation, the Jeeves Law Group will represent you vigorously. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com. And we're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the great folks at Hydrate Heroes, always presented by them. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com to get your free 3-pack. Back in 3. Stay with us. All right, guys, the Golden Diamond Source Memorial Day sale is here. Now, I know you guys are saying I don't have the money to buy a ring right now. Times are tough. What about this? 5-year interest-free financing, so you can buy a $5,000 ring and only pay $83 a month. You got $83 a month to put the ring on the finger of that special person. That's right, $5,000 ring, only $83 a month. So that's 5 years interest-free financing. And of course, the Golden Diamond Source has the best selection. They have the best customer service. And when you shop at the Golden Diamond Source, you can proudly say our jewelry changes lives. We tell you this all the time, folks. The philanthropy of Julie and Steve Weintraub is incredible. Their entire staff very much involved in their philanthropy. The Hands Across the Bay charity helps so many abused women throughout the years. So this Memorial Day, pick a jewelry store that makes an impact. And don't miss their 5-year interest-free sale. It's the Golden Diamond Source, centrally located right there, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly.
That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Thank you guys for sitting through that elongated break. We apologize for that, but sometimes nature calls. Got to take care of this. And while I was doing my research on Jason Adams' Instagram, I saw no such black superstars anywhere on his. Had he scrubbed them from his Instagram?
It was an Instagram story, so it was up for 24 hours, and then it was disappeared forever. And the Twitterverse has it somewhere.
The Twitterverse has it somewhere. Somebody send that to me. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. I can't get a credential, but I guess Mandingo can. Anyway, can we have that as a drop? Maybe
we can.
No. All right. I was just watching a much better angle of the Ricky Stenhouse Kyle Busch brawl. Which makes baseball fights look good. I don't know. And I don't think anybody. First of all, Ricky Stenhouse, if you're going with the sucker punch, how do you freaking miss? How slow are you? How round? If you get it's a quick jet. You don't come from here with the sucker punch. Not that I would know because I wouldn't sucker punch somebody. It's got to be a jab. You can't. So he was easily blocked. I mean. If you're going with the sucker punch, his face is his hands are down. How do you miss that? Come on. I'm going to have a much better shot. And then Kyle Busch goes down. Stenhouse has to be restricted. It was fun, but I don't think it was.
Here
I don't think anybody got hit.
We can put it up here on the
all right
on the stream if we want to. For those of who were not watching the NASCAR All-Star race last night.
Yeah.
I was watching it live and I was ready to run. The race was boring. The race was boring.
Yeah.
For full disclosure, like Joey Logano led 199 of 200 laps. That's how boring
But these two guys were trading pain a little bit, and then
this happened on lap 2.
Explain what happened before.
Yeah, this happened on lap 2 of the race, and they were going into the corner, one of those 3 wide situation, short track racing. I mean, it's just tough. They're at by the way, they're at a revived racetrack that was paved
Wilkesboro
in November. So everybody's learning on this new pave.
I used to go there to cover races in North Wilkesboro. I've been there.
Right. And it was the event itself, leading up to it's fantastic. The race, not so much. But so the race ends and Joey Logano's doing his, burnout and his little interview with Fox Sports. And while he's interviewing, all of a sudden another screen pops up and there's Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse talking. And here was the whole thing from NASCAR's Twitter account.
By the way, Kyle, from the race, Stenhouse.
I omitted that part.
Bumped Kyle Busch into the wall, and then Kyle came up behind him and spun him into the wall.
Right, and Busch dumped him on lap 2, ended his race, and they're racing for $1 million, by the way. So tempers were high, and here was the incident after the race. Play it.
I think everybody wants to be on compliment, though, right? You're going to go with the sucker punch here in a second. We're both explaining to each other how the whole thing went down. He got a bottle of water in his hand. You still don't connect. Did he connect? I don't think he did.
He connected on the side, I think. And that right there in the gray pullover, that is Ricky Stenhouse's father. He was pulling at Kyle Busch there.
Oh, Kyle's like trying to hit the old man.
Yeah. And then eventually here comes Big Country right here. Grabs a guy in the blue and throws him down. Pushes the other guy in blue down. Get off this truck.
Enforcer.
And then back there in back over here is Kyle Busch talking to Stenhouse, and there was the quote. There was the quote that you gave earlier.
Yeah. What do you say? Like, we both.
Stenhouse said, Stenhouse told him, I'll wreck you at Charlotte next week. And Kyle Busch was like, bring it. I suck just as much as you do, so I don't care.
He's the all-encompassing suck.
Yeah, the all-encompassing suck. So,
the all-encompassing sucks.
And what's funny, Ricky Stenhouse. So you wonder how this happened? NASCAR fights don't happen as much anymore. They really don't. There was almost one last week between Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick, but Chris Buescher declined to swing on Tyler Reddick. But the reason why this really happened, North Wilkesboro is very unique in that there's no tunnel to get out. So when these guys wreck early, usually they just pack all their stuff up, they go home, get on their jet, go home. Ricky Stenhouse got wrecked on lap 2. He could not leave. So he was speaking with the media after this and said, I can't go anywhere, so I'm going to wait for Kyle and I'm going to handle this. And everybody kept asking, what are you going to do? And he goes, just watch. So later of the year award right here, he stayed the entire time. And there's an alternate angle, by the way, from Jordan Bianchi of the Athletics video, who was walking with Kyle Busch because he was doing an interview walking.
Yeah, I just retweeted that one. Yeah.
And right as Kyle Busch is getting near his hauler, Ricky Stenhouse is just chilling there, just leaning on the number 8 RCR hauler, just relaxed as could be in the background, just waiting for Kyle Busch to get back there. I mean, this was so premeditated on Ricky Stenhouse's part. He was ready for this moment, and he gave us a great viral moment.
Yeah, he did. And Jordan G asked the question, and I think Nick can answer this. Sometimes I wonder if the NASCAR brawls are semi-encouraged after conflict on the track for ratings or fan cred. It's always so sloppy.
Here's the funny thing is NASCAR has a security guy, and he was in that clip, and he's the one that grabbed Stenhouse immediately. And so he's there to break these things up. But NASCAR, I just told you that the clip we just played was from NASCAR's Twitter account. They love this.
Of course they do.
Absolutely love this.
Look at the cameras were there. The cameras were all, the guy's got the boom microphone.
Nobody's getting suspended. None of that crap is happening. This is old-time NASCAR. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. hit the nail on the head yesterday after this happened. They should concrete all of the tunnels at every racetrack to keep everybody inside the entire race so we could just have these happen more often than not.
He's 100% right. Lock them in. Lock them in.
Lock them in. And let them go. And let them go.
Like a steel cage match. Just lock them all in. Let it simmer for a while. Let the guy simmer for the whole race. He's got to watch the race. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Could not agree more. Listen, I hate to say it. When do we ever even talk about NASCAR? When they fight. That's it.
When they fight or they have an incredible finish, which has happened a lot this year.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I cover NASCAR for a living and everything. I know it's not on the radar of so many people's minds, but this year for NASCAR in the content game has been electric between the great finishes and now this fight. It's been incredible. So
I was watching the Bubba show this morning, which I'm wont to do on Twitter. Good morning show if you ever want to watch that. Really, really fun. And he was talking about the race, and he was like, in Formula One, if Kyle Busch and Stenhouse did that, where they touch and then they touch again, and then the other guy comes and wrecks them, it's like, oh, there's going to be an inquiry. There's going to be an inquiry as to this shenanigan. It's like it's so formal and like the voice of God comes down where NASCAR is like, yep, Robin's racing. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to go wreck you. You wreck me. Let's go.
Sometimes you got to solve issues with your fist. It's not enough to talk it out. Can we just normalize that sometimes? Like
I think I have a special disdain for F1 racing.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Nothing against the drivers or any of the people. It's such an elitist. It's so the whole damn thing is elitist.
Well, I think it's just
there's no passing, there's no action to it.
Boring.
It's
same
boring
guy,
racing.
Is always
it's all about how much money you paid for your ticket and how much the caviar is. And I got to be seen at an F1 race in Vegas. I got to look at the menu. Right. It's $1,200 for some toast. I mean, good for you.
And that's why I appreciate North Wilkesboro making a comeback is because it's in Wilkes County, North Carolina.
That's right, buddy.
Can't find it on a map, really.
I've been there.
And how about this? Kyle Larson,
it's a two-lane road in. It's a two-lane road out. Good luck.
And Kyle Larson, who, by the way, is doing who's going to race in the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 next week. He's a madman. Yeah. Literally helicoptered in. He qualified 5th for the Indy 500 yesterday. His first time in an Indy car. He's insane.
Wow.
And then he helicopters to the airport. And then airports or jets over to North Wilkesboro from Indy, helicopters into the infield to North Wilkesboro and races here.
They had room to land the helicopter in the infield?
I think, they did. And the crowd went crazy. He's a madman.
Shocked by that.
But my point with saying that is, so Kevin Harvick, who is now on the Fox team, he retired after last year, had to qualify the car for him and practice it for North Wilkesboro. And so obviously Kyle Larson yesterday was trying to send him texts and everything like, hey, give me an update, whatever. and his texts weren't going through, his phone calls were going through voicemail. You want to know why that was happening? Because there is no reception at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And there's something wholesome about that.
I believe
it's so old-timey that
Yes.
you go to a NASCAR race in the middle of nowhere, there's no
Yes.
reception, and then you get a fight. So there you go.
Yeah, I think they still sell moonshine.
The moonshine that happened when they were paving the track. They found an old moonshine cave underneath one of the grandstands.
Yeah, when I was working in North Carolina in 95 and 96, they still had North Wilkesboro was still on the NASCAR.
Yeah, 96 was the last year.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. I remember the first time I went there, I was like, "Holy hell! They run a NASCAR race here? You got to be freaking kidding me!" Yeah, and it was really interesting to watch. I mean, the whole damn thing, literally, it was a 2-lane road in, a 2-lane road out. It's ridiculously hard to get to, and I don't even know how many. Back then, I think it's set maybe 40, 50,000 tops. It looked like a freaking dirt track for the most part, but it was interesting. And the same one in Virginia, Southern Virginia, right across the North Carolina borough, where they still run at it. Another short track. I forget the name of it. But anyway, these short tracks in North Carolina, they're interesting. That was the old days when they were true.
About Bowman Gray?
No. That's in
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. Yeah, that's like a mini track. No, it's I'll look it up. I'll find it for you. But anyway, that was and NASCAR starting to be somewhat interesting. It's starting to get a little bit interesting now. The finishes are great. The racing's really good, especially when you put it up against IndyCar and F1, man. I mean, the IndyCar stuff, I'm watching.
I think IndyCar blows F1 out of the water.
No question.
IndyCar is like the lowest viewed by far.
No question. Because there's actually people, there's overtaking. They overtake one another. We call it passing here. It's passing. It's not overtaking. I hate that elitist stuff. So because you'll find guys can set them up, especially at the Indy 500. You guys set them up. They go into the turns. You could see the passes coming. It's good stuff. And yesterday they were running 236.
Yes, I mean I watched the entire qualifying session, and these guys were going up to like 236, 237. I mean, it's the speed, and like you have to when they go into the corner, like it's like full throttle. I mean, it's honestly a spectacle to watch. It really is.
It is. I'm much more interested now in that racing, and it's in the St. Pete Grand Prix. It's fascinating to see these cars move. I mean, it really, really is. But there's just not enough passing. There's just not enough opportunities to overtake. So I don't know. I'm getting back into my NASCAR a little bit. I want to see some more fights. Let's do that some more. All right. What else do we want to get to here? PGA Championship. We haven't talked golf yesterday. I watched a lot of this. And first of all, Valhalla. My God, what a great golf course. What a great venue for major championship golf. Seems like every time they play there, it's an amazing finish. Tiger, Rich Beam. I mean, you just go back and forth to Rory. And yesterday you had at one point 5 guys within 2 shots of the lead, and Xander Schauffele, who's not been able to get it done, has not been able to get it done. He's had 5 top 10 top 5s, 6 top 5s in the majors in the past 5 or 6 5 years or so. I mean, he's there every single moment and hasn't been able to get it done. But I found it interesting. He said in his interview that normally he doesn't want to look at the boards and see where he's at. But this time he did. And he said, I wanted to know exactly where I'm at and stay in the moment and trust myself from a mental standpoint. And on 18, he knows he's got to make a birdie to win going into it because Bryson DeChambeau, who became a fan favorite this week, I don't know how the hell that happened, but kind of became a fan favorite. And he birdies 18 with the last rotation of the ball. He had left, I think, 2 or 3 birdie putts short on the back 9. And he damn near did it on 18. I'm like, no way you leave this short, bro. You cannot leave this short. And the ball came up right to the lip. I'm like, no, he left it short again. And then it goes in. And to set the stage for Xander, who's got to birdie the par 5. Now, Xander just smokes his drive, but it doesn't fade. So he doesn't have a stance, and it's right next to the bunker.
he's got his feet in the bunker and pulls out a 4-iron. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like what? Like this is it was a risky shot, because you don't know how your feet are going to react in that bunker when you try to make a full swing, because he's gripped up to the shaft. He's got to choke up on the club down to the where there's no grip to get contact, and he freaking flushes it, hits a 4-iron, 235 yards, and he's got about 30 yards left, but he's in a good position, chipping up the hill, leaves himself a perfect position, chips it to 6 feet, and then rolls in the putt, and you're watching it, from ground level, and it's like, oh my God, he's going to miss it on the left. He's going to miss it on the left, and it hits the lip, and you think it's going to be like the Players where it rips out, and then we got a playoff, and it just, by the millimeter, it falls in the cup, and he wins his first major, shooting 66 after shooting an opening 62 to tie the record for lowest round in a major, 21 under. 65 he shot. That was one hell of a performance, one hell of a pressure-packed performance, and very good theater for PGA golf. These majors have been really, really good. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, there's two ways to look at this for me, and one obviously to Xander Schauffele, who's been just plucking away for years at these majors. This was the 9th straight top 20 for him in majors. He's just always involved, but he always finds a way to choke it away or doesn't have his best game on Sunday. But yesterday, and by the way, he goes wire to wire too. Wire to wire leader, which Xander Schauffele going wire to wire is not what you would ever expect, given his history. But to your point, they kept showing, his face and everything during all the shots. Like, he just was so calm, and you have to be in that moment, right? You just have to be. And you look at the leaderboard, it's Victor Hovland, it's Bryson DeChambeau. Justin Rose was flirting with there for a while. Morikawa, who just could not buy a putt yesterday. Like, it's a stacked leaderboard of guys who are coming after him.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't do anything crazy. I think he had one bogey, maybe. What was it, on 10, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, he just kind of played his game. And that shot, like you said, that you set up perfectly there on 18.
What a shot.
Like, I almost felt like the shot would have been easier if he would have rolled into the bunker. That's what I was thinking. I was go back. I thought it would have been easier in the bunker, to be honest. But then when it landed there, I'm like, oh, Lord, that's going to be incredibly tough. But he hit the crap out of it.
God, definitely hit flush in that moment. Holy Christ.
Right.
What a shot.
So that was great to see. It was good theater. The other part of this that's, I think, interesting, because you said, Valhalla and everything. Was it the best thing for golf to have a course like this that just had no teeth to it all weekend? It had nothing to defend itself, and how soft the greens were all weekend.
Yeah.
The combined score, JP, this was crazy. This is one of the craziest stats I've ever seen. The combined score to par by the entire field was minus 214. Okay. Yeah. That's the lowest combined score.
Minus 221.
214, 21, whatever. Lowest combined score to par in PGA Championship history. You know what the lowest was before this?
What?
It was Riviera in 1995 plus 40.
What?
Okay. That's how crazy this golf course was this week, and how gettable it was for all these guys. It was birdie central. There were eagles all over the place. We had Shane Lowry shoot a 62. Schauffele shot a 62.
You know what's interesting though? And I hear you, but normally when the courses are too easy, the problem with that is the cream doesn't rise to the top. Look at that leaderboard. Look at the leaderboard. So it wasn't a bunch of no names. Yeah, but it also wasn't a bunch of no names, that because it was so easy, some guy, anybody could go out there and shoot 65. So it's a little weird in that, because I like courses that give you options. Now, I would have liked them to move the tee up on 13 at 340. It's only one guy that went for the green on the par 4. It was Toasty. Did you see that shot he hit? Toasty, first guy out. What a name, by the way. And he hits a driver to 6 feet. I think he hit it too. I'm like, unfreaking believable, but nobody else tried it. I thought for a moment, if Bryson was like 3 or 4 back, I think he might have tried it. But if they'd have brought that up to like 312, or 350, somewhere in there, guys probably would have had to hit 3 woods, but it's an island green. So you can't, you just can't blast away. You've got to hit it with a lot of height so it'll stop on the green. That's a tough shot. But it was a little too far for somebody any, I would have liked to seen a better choice there, like more of a choice. And Rory laid up, like I thought Rory might go for it. He lays up and then hits his second shot in the water. Ouch, babe. He's probably sitting there going, mother, why didn't I go for the green? I'd be dropping in the same place right now. So I thought that was a missed opportunity. So, but I like to see choices and I like to see scoring. And there's the eagle comes into play on 18. Like I want to see that.
Well, I was going to say though, like, even though like if you're a golf purist, you probably looked at that and went, ugh, I want this to be hard. I want this to be really difficult for these guys. And it looks easy.
I like that too.
But on the other hand, if you're a casual fan, I think you enjoyed the hell out of this weekend.
I think so.
I think a casual fan wants to see birdies, wants to see eagles, wants to see the crowd into it.
Yes.
And I think
sometimes when it's like, too hard, it's like, ugh, because you don't have a lot of movement. There's nobody overtaking people.
Maybe I'm looking at this a little too difficult. Maybe this is just what golf needed this weekend.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't have a problem with it. It never came into the back of my mind, oh, this is too easy. Because the best golfers, I mean, what you want to do with the majors is identify the best golfers, right? The U.S. Open always says that. We're not trying to embarrass them. We're trying to identify them, whatever. And sometimes the U.S. Open gets so ridiculous, this becomes more about the course than it is about the player.
Yes, and this was just about the pure talent of the players coming through. Yeah. And in the big leaderboards, which we don't get week in and week out on the PGA Tour, and there's no need to go back down there. But I will say, to the point that you made earlier about Bryson DeChambeau all of a sudden becoming a fan favorite, he was absolutely the favorite out there on that course.
Yeah.
And I will say that the turnaround and public opinion on Bryson DeChambeau has been pretty big. And yesterday, I mean, hell, as much as I wanted Schauffele to get a win under his belt, like, of course, I mean, I was kind of riding with the wins of everybody else with DeChambeau because he was just so fun to watch out there. Like he was really getting into it. He was, the fist bumps, he was firing up the crowd. He was hitting bombs. Like, and even the little moment, I think you put it on Twitter. You responded to the video. You could set that up one that one if you'd like.
He's coming out and fans are cheering him. He takes his golf ball and he throws it to a little kid. A grown ass man intercepts it, and not only does he intercept it, then he runs away like a little bitch. And Bryson's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So he calls him over because I think somebody stopped him. And then he
pointed the club and he's like, hey.
So the guy comes over and gives the ball back to the kid. What? I don't want to go on a diatribe. It's become very chic to bust on Harrison Butker for being misogynistic when asking, men to do hard things and step up. What we ought to be worried about is a lack of masculinity in the American male, like a grotesque lack of a masculine, like, because we see this all over the place. It's just, I mean, I'm not for toxic masculinity. That's not what we're saying. But can men be men again around here, stealing little golf balls from little boys? Jesus Christ. Anyway, maybe we need more speeches about that. This was, I thought, for Bryson, it was a great moment for him because he really did connect with the crowd. But again, he's irrelevant. John Rahm couldn't even make the cut. Irrelevant. These Dustin Johnson, irrelevant. These guys have gone to live and become irrelevant. I'm just saying, Dustin Johnson would still be a factor in the major after major after major if he was still on the PGA Tour. He has completely lost his game. Because he's not challenged, and he knows he's playing.
I don't think he cares, to be honest.
Well,
I think he's lost a lot of care.
That comes with it.
And some of the announcers were kind of saying that too, watching him play.
Well, that comes with it. When you're playing on an irrelevant tour and you just take the money, if you're out there every week and you're grinding with the guys and you want to beat them, it keeps your fire going. When you're on the Carnival tour,
and I think in the case of John Rahm, he clearly misses the PGA Tour, and he's trying to be like the middleman, I feel like, between them.
Yeah, that's not working for him.
But at the same time, and he's not but he's been playing well on the Live Tour for whatever that matters.
Yeah.
But not his greatest performance here in the two majors since he's been here.
But what he said,
I just saw the Forbes list of the top paid athletes in all of the world, and guess who's number 2 behind Cristiano Ronaldo? It's John Rahm.
Who cares? So what's that getting you? You have more money than you could spend when you're on the PGA Tour in your lifetime.
Yeah,
More
I don't know.
endorsements than you'll ever have.
I brought up DeChambeau because watching him play, and even the way he played in the Masters too, where I think he finished just outside the top 5. I want to say,
yeah.
Like I wish we got to see him more now.
Exactly.
Like the PGA Tour could use him, like for entertainment purposes, if anything.
Yeah, even if you're the guy with the black hat, you bring eyeballs.
Yeah, and but again, it's not every golfer. Like you mentioned, the ones who don't play well when they come over here. But I mean, Brooks has been playing golf that he only cares about the majors anyway. Even he was on the PGA Tour, he only cared about the majors. And he was in the mix a little bit, not as much. Fell off a little bit, but obviously DeChambeau, like, no, this guy he's so locked in right now, and you just wish he was playing like truly competitive golf like that week in and week out.
They got to figure that out. One day, get to this too, because I get some info on this from some people. Jordan, she said the combined score was minus 221. Shouldn't have 20 unders across the top 5, even with a solid finish at a major. Phenomenal competition regardless, but they won't go back because of the Scotty incident. Did you hear about what happened with this? So I heard that the owner of Valhalla and a couple of the mayor, congressman, everybody, when they heard about what happened. And listen, I don't want to dump on police. They have a tough job. They have a very tough job, and we very much support law enforcement on this show. We always have, and they have a tough job. But they're not perfect, and they make mistakes. Oh. And it really, really feels like this guy went over the top. It just really feels like you could have diffused this situation rather easily. I'm not saying he has to kiss Scotty Scheffler's ass. That's not what I'm saying. And I wasn't there. I haven't seen video.
There's no footage. There's no body cam footage.
But there's, it just seems to me that this was an overzealous cop who got in a bad situation and just could have diffused, but did not. Do you really need to be jumping on cars? When there's no, I mean,
yeah, I'm not convinced that he jumped on the car.
He tore his pants.
This was my first reaction to all this thing when I digested it and got all the facts straight and everything that were presented was like, hey, they're calling it a misunderstanding. I have no reason to believe it's not a misunderstanding because Scotty was told one thing.
Yep.
And at the same time, the police that are there are dealing with a fatality in the early morning. It's dark. It's pouring rain. There's cars all over the place. There's people walking. There's cameras clearly everywhere.
Yeah.
Reporters sniffing around. Like, it's a lot going on here. Is it possible to suggest that this police officer just didn't get the memo?
Absolutely.
And didn't get the heads up in that moment and didn't know to look out for the PGA marked cars or whatever they were that they had going on to identify? Yeah, I think it is. So I literally looked at it as, hey, the police officer saw a driver going on a median with fatality around and said, "Oh, whoa." So he tried to do in his mind what his job. And at the same time, Scotty Scheffler was doing what he thought he was told.
Show your credential, they'll let you through.
Right. And we had a big misunderstanding. And clearly the police officers that were dealing with Scotty Scheffler were not equipped or did not know anything about the PGA Tour or who Scotty Scheffler is clearly. But then when I saw the police report and we're over dramatizing the whole thing, and we're prefacing that my $80 pants were ruined beyond repair, which would they get a little too much mud on them or something? I don't know. That to me seemed a little Looney Tune.
Right.
And then when Scotty talked about the way he was treated at the jail cell and how the police were so nice to him and they gave him a sandwich and all that, like, doesn't sound like a cop who was run over beforehand.
No.
And there's no body cam footage. The charges are likely going to be dropped and nothing's going to come from this. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, maybe this was an overzealous cop. And listen, we have plenty of examples of that happening around this country.
That's right. So as much as we want to support law enforcement, everything tells me that this could have been easily diffused at the moment. And by the way, you can't tell me it didn't take a toll on Scotty Scheffler on Saturday.
It did on Saturday.
You're damn right it did.
Damn right it did. And it probably could have caught it. And I don't want to put an asterisk next to things, but the way Scotty played yesterday, the way he played on Thursday, the way he played on Friday, assuming that he plays his normal self on Saturday, he's right in the mix yesterday.
Absolutely. And who's picking against him in that spot? Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah, I'm a little irritated. I mean, his numbers on the bet app dropped after he got arrested. And I immediately thought, oh, now's a good time to finally bet on Scotty Scheffler because there's some chance to make some dough here. And so I threw a little bit of money on him. And then Saturday happened. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And again, we don't, as you said, and I've said, it's a tough situation, but people make mistakes. It just seemed like that was a perfect opportunity to, when you pull him out of the car, you pull him over to the side, somebody at that checkpoint has to be like, let's check with someone and say, hey, we got Scotty Scheffler
and I'm
here.
sure the Louisville mayor was like, was going crazy at the side of this.
As Jordan says, is the PGA Tour coming back to Valhalla now?
They got reasons not to.
Things like that matter. And there's too many other places that want it. So unfortunately for the people of Louisville, that's going to be something that stays with them. What else do we want to get to here? Jordan G says he was at the final round PGA Championship when Mickelson won at Kiowa. Goshen course has the same problem. They don't have the infrastructure to host a major, despite, of course, being nice. Yeah, I've been to Kiowa many times, played the Ocean course many times. It's a sleepy little resort. There's 2-lane roads everywhere. Getting people around, that many people around, is just, it's next to impossible in areas like that. But you love the courses and you want them to compete on it, but they're not very amenable to the large crowds. Says it was the biggest shiz show on earth to get on a shuttle as well for players to arrive. They had the players arriving the same entrance as the patrons. Those isolated courses are a joke to go to. I agree. Absolutely agree. Media hating Bryson because he's MAGA. Let's say it for what it is. He's always been cool. It's probably true.
I don't know. I don't remember that, truthfully. But Bryson, when he first came out, remember he had the funky hat that he wore, and then he played incredibly slow.
Yeah.
And it was like he was like the new age golfer at the time. That was like all the science going on in his head.
Yeah.
I think that made him a really easy target.
I agree with that too. Yeah. And then he had the beef with Brooks, right?
Yeah, the beef with Brooks.
Yeah. Bryson can be douchey at times. There's no doubt about it. So I don't think it's just the MAGA stuff, but that's part of it. No question. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to do some bucks when we get back. Check in on the poll numbers. I'm asking you guys, which rookie will have the biggest impact this season? So go take our Twitter poll, vote in that one. We've got 4 names up there for you. I think we put Graham Barton. Who else we have up there? McMillan,
Bucky Irving,
and Chris Braswell. And if you want to write in somebody else, feel free and comment. So we'll do some bucks when we get back. We're brought to you by Extravaganza Productions. Big event or small, they do it all, folks. The best professionals in the business doing AV and coming up with creative programs for your event. They've got a great warehouse full of props, so you can do things you never thought you could ever do. And it's amazing what they have there. So go have a creative meeting with them and find out what they can do. Extravaganza Productions, best in the business. Extravaganzaproductions.com is their website. Contact them through their email and get your free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. Back in 3. Stay with us. Are you looking to be more productive and healthier? Do you know chronic dehydration affects your overall health and well-being? 75% of the U.S. population suffers from dehydration, and many of us don't even know it. That was me before I was introduced to Hydrate Heroes. 8 times the benefits with hydration. A beverage with benefits more than just hydration. That's right, 8 times the benefits with hydration. Hydrate Heroes provides a refreshing, great-tasting beverage powder to mix with water, providing elderberry, zinc, vitamin D, electrolytes, amla fruit, which provides a great source of vitamin C, along with a proprietary mushroom blend that has shown to help increase endurance and energy at the cellular level. Hydrate Heroes is so confident you're going to love the taste and the results. They are offering our listeners a special offer, a free 3-pack sample, no credit card needed. Just go to the jppetersonshow.com, the jppetersonshow.com, and click on Hydrate Heroes logo. Hydrate for health today with Hydrate Heroes. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. He also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source Memorial Day sale is on. You got a graduation coming up right now. You want to get a gift? What better way than to go to the Golden Diamond Source right now? Your destination for over 40 years, if you can dream it. They have it all under one roof. Folks, graduation gifts are very, very special. So get them something shiny, something that will last a lifetime. And that's the Golden Diamond Source. They have a tremendous selection there, great customer service. And of course, if you're selling or trading jewelry right now, you can get the highest trade-in value of the year for your diamonds. Upgrade today and use that money towards a graduation gift. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services, Scotty Fitzgerald and the great team over there. If you need a mortgage, you need to refinance, might be something you're interested in if your credit card bills are going up, check him out. You can email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. And the great folks at Hydrate Heroes, 8 times the benefits, folks, only 5 calories per servings, and it tastes great. Don't be drinking hydration drinks that have 200 calories or more. That's not good for you. All the sugars and the stimulants and the energy drinks, that's not good for you. Great stuff in this. Keeps you hydrated during the summer, and less than $1 a serving. Hydrate Heroes, get your free 3-pack at tryhydrateheroes.com. They'll send you the pack. Just mix it all up and enjoy it. I drink probably – Ashley's a little worried about me, Nick. I'm drinking like 5 or 6 of these a day, but staying hydrated and feel better.
Stay hydrated out there. I mean, I felt it again yesterday playing hockey. It is just –
oh, it's getting there.
Yeah. It don't matter if you wear white or a light color, dry fit. It don't matter right now. You just sweat like buckets. So,
yeah, I played in a little golf tournament on Saturday morning at Palma Sea, which is a beautiful day. Good friends, good people out there, and made one really incredible birdie from about 65 feet off the green, up the hill, putted because you have to putt. Now, you're off the green at Palma Sea. The big, I ain't chipping it. That's a skull over the green every single time. So I putted it up the hill, broke right in. That was the highlight of the day. Everything else was not so good, but a fun day. Yeah, we're getting to the time where playing golf in the afternoon or even in the morning is going to be.
I'm actually trying to get back into golf. I've been out of it for like a year now after I got really irritated and snapped a club. And After watching the Masters and the PGA, I literally on Saturday was enjoying the golf so much. I just went on my phone and I went on the PGA Superstore on my phone.
Oh,
I started adding a bunch of stuff in my cart. Have not purchased it yet. But I started adding a bunch of stuff because I was like, okay, if I'm going to go restart of sorts, I'm literally going to start again from the ground up because it's been like a year. I'm going to have to get all new stuff and I need to just reset.
Let me just give you a little clue here, partner. You're not going to want to look at the bottom line of that PGA store. I might go to the
I already saw it. It's a reason why I did not hit checkout.
Secondhand store where you literally get, TD Golf is a great place. Go to TD Golf. They have secondhand clubs. I mean, people buy these $5,000 sets. They hit.
Oh no,
use
no,
them four times.
I'm not buying a new set of. I'm not buying a new set of clubs.
Do not.
But I meant like I need new golf shoes.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting new markers. I'm getting a new towel. Like I'm getting new stuff like that in hopes of it turning my game around.
Yeah.
And I love going to the PGA Superstore. The one I know they have one there on Del Mabry.
Yeah.
But they have a humongous one in Sarasota there at that UTC Town Center.
Yes.
And I love going in there because I will spend an hour in there just looking at everything.
Next to the PGA merchandise show, which like that is like absolute Disney World for golfers. They have a PGA Superstore here in Orlando that's freaking massive. But you're gonna pay retail. You're gonna pay retail.
Oh yeah, it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap.
No, I ain't interested in all that. Yeah, you can. There's definitely options, but here's the other part. You go try to find a tee time, and what it costs to play golf now.
Oh my, it's outrageous. Outrageous. Yeah, I miss like when it was 2020, the summer of 2020, when you couldn't do much but play golf. I went like every Saturday and like I was spending like $20-$30 for tee times.
You could play at Rocky Point and walk for like $15.
Yeah. And that's why I was able to play every single weekend. It's like now I go like my local goat track over here is like charging like $65 to play in the morning. And I'm like, you're out of your freaking mind, man.
It's crazy.
Gosh, maybe I should call him out, Diamond Hill.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I walked, there was a new course over here. It's not like Top Golf, well, kind of like Top Golf. It's over here in Claremont, and it's a beautiful like range. It has TrackMan. It has all the targets out there, but it's TrackMan instead of like, hitting them into targets at Top Golf. This TrackMan will like track your shot, like every distance, club head speed, all that stuff. Really, really cool. And it's it overlooks the big lake here. It's a beautiful range of Claremont. They also have a golf course here too. It's really nice. It's got very hilly. It's got some up and down. So I'm like, let's go see what it costs to play golf. It's like $125 for an afternoon round. I'm like, are you out of your mind? That $125?
And all I get is to shoot 115 and I get a bad sunburn. And I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's it. It's gotten really, really expensive to play golf. So I don't know if you want to get back into that part. Might set you back a little bit. All right, let's hit some of the other stories I wanted to get to. We talked a little bit about the Game 7 yet, or I want to hit the Bucks first. Let's get to the poll. I asked you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about this tomorrow too. We'll get more votes because I just put it up this morning. Who do you think will be the most impactful rookie? And Graham Barton is getting the overwhelming amount of votes, as you might think, as the number one pick in the center, getting 81% of the votes. Bucky Irving getting 4%. Chris Braswell getting 12%. Jalen McMillan 3%. I've been a big proponent of Graham Barton. I wanted just either him or JPJ. I thought center would be the most impactful position that the Bucks could take, and the best one in the draft fell to him. That's why, I thought the draft really went their way, and they filled so many positions. So I do think, it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to look on a stat sheet and go, oh, Graham Barton ran for 112 yards today, like you might, for Bucky Irving. Jalen McMillan may have 7 catches for 75 yards and 3 first downs and a touchdown. I think that's very, very doable. But I just think Graham Barton's going to make the passing game go better. The running game will definitely be better. And by extension, make the defense better as well. So I still think he'll be the most impactful. But, Chris Braswell getting a little bit of run coming off the edge. I think it's tough for guys to come out of college and get double-digit sacks. It rarely happens. You got to be a super special player to do that. So I think he'll make an impact, but those guys usually year 2, 3, and 4 will show a little bit more.
Is it reasonably, reasonable to expect him to have a Yaya Diaby type impact? Yaya did last year. I mean, he's certainly coming in. Yaya, when he came out, was just an athletic freak. And obviously Braswell is too, to an extent, but Braswell had a little bit more. I know granted he didn't start games at Alabama, but you know what I mean. He played at Alabama. He got good development there. Yeah. He seems to be coming in more polished than Yaya did. Like Yaya to me over exceeded rookie expectations.
Well, here's my thing about Yaya. How much more productivity would he be gotten if he started in game 2 instead of game 8?
Very fair.
I mean, and this has been a consistent problem with the Todd Bowles regime. They don't recognize talent early enough, or don't recognize really poor play early enough. I mean, Yaya's just better than JTS. And that was pretty much apparent on day 1 in training camp. He's just a better physical specimen. He's quicker. He's better off the ball. I think this Todd Bowles, having been a player in this league and playing for a long time, having been a veteran player in this league, he probably has a little bit of shade towards veteran players. Shading towards, like giving them more credit.
Well, you trust them. You
trust them. That's a great word. That's a great word. You trust them more. But when you have an impact guy like that, that's a physical freak, sometimes you want to just let them make mistakes early on, so they'll be more productive at the end of the season. Now, he kind of ran out of gas a little bit at the end. His production went down, but maybe it's because he wasted a lot of energy trying to get on the field, whatever it was. I don't know. But I think I would like to see Chris Braswell getting a lot more reps early on and JTS getting a lot less reps.
Yeah. To answer, I guess, the poll question, the easy answer is to say Graham Barton. But, again, beyond what he's going to provide in a stat sheet, unless you're one of those people that's looking at pancakes and all these other things, I'm looking forward to see what he does for the run game, because again, we've been saying it ad nauseum here. You can't have the 32nd ranked run game, and expect. I mean, the fact again that the Bucs got a game away from getting to the NFC Championship with a 32nd ranked run game is astounding. And and by the way, no shade at all to Baker, not with an elite quarterback, by the way, that's overcoming all that. Yeah. So that was amazing. So I'm hoping to see that changes here, because we saw what the Bucs offense looked like, and again, granted, those offenses were stacked at the skill positions, and you had Tom Brady playing out of his mind. But you saw what happened when you had a dominant center on that offensive line in a really well-rounded group. And I think the Bucs definitely have a chance at having that this year, assuming that Graham Barton fills in that role week 1 and is a guy. But beyond Graham, and
he's going to be the starting center.
Well, not just be the starter, but I mean, like, he's going to be somebody like right away. There's not going to be a big transition. But you didn't put him in your poll, but I actually think he's probably number 2 on my list is Tyke Smith.
Yeah, that's what Nathan Elliott says too.
Yeah, and I agree with everything Nathan said here, because I'm expecting him to probably beat out Christian Izien for that nickel spot. I mean, he's just a more talented player. Let's just be completely honest about that. And the ball seems to find him, and the Bucs need to get more hands on footballs in their secondary. I think that's a big emphasis that Todd Bowles put on here. He identified Tyke Smith early on in this process from everything that we've heard, and they drafted him probably a round earlier than most thought he was going to go. I'm okay with it personally, because they love him. So I'm expecting him to start at nickel and to make a pretty big impact there day 1. So I'd probably go Barton and Tyke Smith.
And again, if Tyke Smith shows up and he's better than Christian Izien, start him week 1. I want to give these guys a shot. If they show you, let's not wait till week 8, 9, and 10 to get them in the game. Nathan Elliott says Todd Bowles sees the talent in poor play, just too loyal to certain players. Yeah, see Devin White. Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Devin White, I was reading this Cynthia Freeland. I guess she's with Fox, one of the prognosticators, does all their betting stuff. She said, was looking at the Bucs and said with the departure of Devin White and Shaq Barrett and Carlton Davis on defense, it's going to take a while for the Bucs to get to all be rowing their boat in the same order. If you think those departures are something that's going to hurt the Bucs, you haven't put on a frame of film, Cynthia. It looks, if you look on paper, they lost that one. And Devin White being gone is addition by subtraction. And I would say the same about Shaq Barrett, and who we love, but he was stealing rep from guys that could have played better last year, in my opinion. And same goes for Carlton Davis, probably as well. Zion McCollum is just a better player now.
Hell, I even saw, not to dump on Devin here, but because I came across this the other day, Bucky Brooks said on the Move the Sticks podcast that Devin White was the most underrated signing for the Eagles, and nobody's talking about him. And he mentions 2 years ago, we talked about him being one of the best at his position. And I'm like, we're still doing this, aren't we? We're still doing
this, man.
We're still doing this. And now that he's in a Philly uniform, big market, it's easier for people to go, oh, Devin White. No, in no way.
And the thing about Devin is, he'll make some splash plays and everybody, but it's like, turn on the freaking tape, man. Like Bucky Brooks, you watch tape. You see this. How can you put on his tape and say that? Mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
I don't know. We'll take KJ Britt and we'll ride
all day long. Or hey, does Servassier Dennis step up in year 2? That's a good battle. That's a good battle that's going to go on there for that linebacker spot.
I don't know if Jim. I don't want to underscore JJ Russell either. I mean, JJ when he was in there, like I thought he played well. I don't know if it's just Servassier. Servassier Dennis, for the way I understand it, is more the backup to Levante.
Yeah. And those positions they're pretty similar.
There's little slight nuances to the different position, the different linebacker that KJ Britt plays and what Levante David plays.
But you want to get them both. You want to get your best guys on the field, your best instinctual guys, your best playmakers, but at whatever position, you got to get them on the field. And I think, I'd like to see some of these young guys get a shot because the secondary, the pass defense in general was just awful last year. And it was 26th in the league. I mean, that's something you could, when you could take those huge deficiencies and make them better. And I think the Bucs addressed them both tremendously in terms of the run game. They got the best running back in the draft in terms of breaking tackles, and production. I don't care. You can look at 40 times all you want, but give me a running back that produces, knows how to catch the ball out of the backfield, and he knows how to break tackles. Those are the numbers that matter to me. I don't care if he ran a 4.5. What did he run? A 4.56, which was
somewhere there. Yeah.
14th among the running backs. So what? Turn on the tape. What's his football speed look like? Same for Keon Coleman. I don't care about the 40. You're running the gauntlet and catching passes faster than anybody else. That's what matters.
Side note on Keon Coleman. We got to protect him at all cost. We got to protect him. He is already one of my favorite players in the NFL. Have you seen this man's just like generational run of just very like viral moments here since he's gotten to Buffalo?
No.
Just for being himself.
Oh yeah.
Like, and he had a new one over the weekend. He was taking
these cookies.
He had a new one over the weekend at the NFL rookie premiere.
Oh,
they were doing like the photo shoots and the jerseys and everything. And after he got a good one, he points to the camera and he goes, "Oh, that one right there. Send that one to my mama. That's the one."
I love it. That's why he's so beloved at FSU too. He was, from day one.
So wholesome.
Yeah, good. Just a good dude. Good dude. Wish him the best. Wish he would have been in a Bucs uniform, but not in the first round. Jeremy Lowe's here for the Bucky and White duo. I'm not the dumping on Rashad White. I just think is so. I think the dude had 1,500 yards from scrimmage last year.
He had some really electric moments for the Bucs last year.
Yeah, by people, I mean, you want to look at numbers, man. Look at the tape. And where's the room to run for this dude? I know you sometimes, we missed the hole there. It's really hard, to even looking at the all 22 from the end zone cam, sometimes it's hard to really, because the view from the running back is so much different, even from the end zone cam. But did he miss some holes? Yeah, every back misses holes. But for the majority of the time, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. He gets squeezed in the hole every single time.
Yeah, he's not a special running back, okay? But here's the thing. I don't think I necessarily need a special running back. You know, I mean, not everybody's gifted as Christian McCaffrey, where you are the focal point of your offense and you can ride that to a Super Bowl. Like, that's a very unique situation. I don't think teams nowadays need special at the running back. You need splash plays, you need consistency and things like that. You don't have to be special. Rachaad White's not that, but 1,500 yards is 1,500 yards.
Yeah, I think 1,500 yards in that offense is pretty special.
Yeah, and I think Liam Cohen's going to get this guy. I mean, Dave Canales did a better job at the end of the year getting him opportunities in space and letting him just go. I think Liam Cohen's going to take advantage of that earlier on in the season.
Yeah, exactly. He gets going from the very beginning. I think he's going to have a big year, and I think Bucky can be a great compliment. I mean, you got to have two. Shit, you need three. You need three in this league.
Yeah, I mean, Edmonds is there too. We'll see what we get out of him.
And I like him too. I liked when Chase Edmonds was healthy. He made some splash plays. I like what they got there.
We're just ignoring
Jalen McMillan. I think, that kid, watching him run routes, he is smooth and productive. He's a very polished receiver already. So with that threesome, and even, you put Pryor in the mix too, you've got four guys that they're really good at what they do. McMillan's a great route runner, very, very Godwin-esque. I think Godwin continues to get better, and he knows it's a contract year for him as well. I think that's great motivation. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. I think you got four really good receivers right there, especially with him being able to take the top off the defense. So you got a lot of good things there. And then I think Cade Otton is an underrated tight end in terms of his catching ability. Still needs some help blocking. But I think, that's going to be interesting with the tight end they got as well. He's beefing up, and he's already Devin Culp, who's already, a really good pass rusher and has really good hands, and it's going to be good in that system of Liam Combs. So again, they've got a lot of guys that I think can produce this year. And I'm going to say this: Barton's an immediate starter. Tyke Smith probably a starter, but definitely by halfway through the season. So that's two starters for me. I think McMillan is going to eventually be your number 3 receiver, certainly down the line.
I think he takes it right away.
I think he could be a original starter. Bucky Irving is, if you're the number 2 running back, to me, you're a starter. You're just as good as a starter. You're going to hopefully get 200 plus carries and split up the load with Rachaad White. You got to split up the load. He can't be carrying, having 380 touches or whatever it was. That's not going to last. So I think, he becomes an important part. I think Elijah Klein eventually is a starting guard on this team. I really do. And Devin Culp, I think if you're in the 3-man rotation at tight end, you're essentially a starter. So this draft can really, really be a huge key. And when you're winning Super Bowls, folks, having drafts like this in the last 2 drafts where they got 10 starters, you've got a window where you've got a lot of different productive players at a low rate. So you can pay you can pay the big guys, you can pay your quarterback, you pay your receivers, pay your safety, right?
I feel like that's the most fascinating thing of the way Jason Licht has run this team now over the last, handful of years is learning from his mistakes that he made during his first 5 years. Like the Bucs, you know what they are now when free agency day comes? They're out of it. They're like completely out of it. They're not linked to any of these big name free agents. You want to know why? Because Jason Licht paid Anthony Collins. He paid Josh McCown. He paid Alteron Werner. He paid Michael Johnson. He paid all Robert. You can go on and on and on of these names that I'd like to forget about.
I'm not sure all those were his mistakes, but they're Bucs mistakes.
They're Bucs mistakes, and he gave them big money, and they didn't work out. And so now they've prioritized, hey, and he wasn't nailing drafts at that time either. So it was just a bad combination. Now they focused on, hey, let's nail the draft. And we find stars through the draft, and then we pay those guys. And we have these assurances to our stars that, hey, we're going to pay you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere else to get your money. We're going to get you paid here.
Yeah. You turn into a selfish player and pop off on Instagram and don't be part of the team culture. We're not paying you. And they didn't pick up the 5th-year option on JTS, and not because he's not. I don't think he's an individual guy like Devin. He's just not.
No, he's just not good enough. He's just not good enough.
Yeah. Simple as that. A couple other comments here from Jeremy Lowe. Klein could be the guard to start on the left side. I think he could win that job. He could absolutely win that job. He's a house, and he's got a great, very polished attitude already. KJ Britt outplayed Devin. I'm going to pout White every time he got on the field. Yeah, which was a mystery why Devin was out there for so long. Ethan says Rachaad White will have an even better season this year. No Kayvon, better blocking, better play caller. White will improve. People are way too low key when it comes to White because he is laid back. I agree. I think he's going to have a huge year.
Hey, remember when Keyshawn Vaughn, by the way, kept getting like all this run?
Yeah.
Randomly last year. And like there were so many of us that kept saying, you do realize that if you drop this guy tomorrow, he's not getting picked up by anybody.
Yeah.
And guess what?
No.
Nobody's picked him up.
Nope. Blew that one. I feel Cade Otton came into his own towards the end of the season. This playoff performance proves he's on his way. Yeah, I believe so as well. I just wish he could put on 20 pounds and keep his same mobility. Yeah, Keyshawn, I think he came in. I think you watched the tape. The kid was good. His attitude, he started pouting because he wasn't getting carries. He wasn't getting his way. And he pouted his way right out of the league. And that happens to guys. Sometimes the talent is there, and I think the talent was there with them. But you it's NFL football, bro. And you want to pout, you're not going to be around for long if you're not, especially if you're not a superstar. No. He was pushed out to be trade bait, but became clickbait. Yeah, maybe. All right, we'll take our final break. We'll come back. I'm going to get to a little bit of hockey, some FSU stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Fanatics is an interesting story. So we got a couple of other nuggets we're going to get to. And my Timberwolves are still alive. We didn't talk about our Timberwolves. What a comeback on Denver. That was incredible. Stay with us. Quick break. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
With over 34 years of producing small and large events, Extravaganza Productions is truly a Tampa treasure when it comes to creating some of the very best events in Tampa and all across the United States. I've worked with them at the Florida Sports Hall of Fame inductions, the Warrior Games, which was an Olympic-sized event spread across all of Tampa Bay. They are the very best, from small meetings to exceptionally large corporate conferences to galas, fundraisers, sporting events, grand openings, whatever you want. Team EPI has an extremely talented staff of designers and show producers that develop extraordinary events fueled by the visions of their clients. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com.
Let's go! Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your testosterone right, get your immune system right, get your nutrition right, get a personal plan for your life, not some one-size-fits-all, not one pill fits all. where your doctor just takes care of you when you're sick. Bay Area Modern Medical Center is based on keeping you healthy, a healthy lifestyle, a personalized plan for you to stay healthy, whatever your issues are. So go to BAMMC.com, go see our good friend Chris Lugo, and he will get you right in all those areas. All right, let's get to some of the other stories. Did you see this Timberwolves game yet? First of all, I saw the Timberwolves just destroy the Nuggets in the first two games. I'm like, who's beating these guys? This is the new bully on the block. Then the Nuggets come back and put them in their place. They get to game 7 in Denver and jump out to a 20-point lead. And I'm trying to smash the button on my heart, like you know what? I want to bet this game. I think the Timberwolves are coming back to. For some reason, it wouldn't work. I don't know what the hell happened. Always when I have a winning thought, something goes wrong in the app. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Everybody else experienced that? Anybody else? Anyway, they come behind Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, and what's his face? Naz
Reid.
Holy hell. Did you see him close that game?
I guess that's the key to beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series is you just got to have Naz Reid out there.
Right? He put 2 blocks on Jokic, or maybe 3 it was, down the stretch, where they just gave it to him one-on-one, and he was not given ground.
And then the putback done late in the game, that sequence.
God. That was the huge one.
Then he had the dish on. They got the steal, and then he had the nice dish to Anthony Edwards for the 3 to seal it.
That was one hell of a closing performance. And Anthony Edwards really, he made a huge 3. Made a huge 3 down the stretch.
He was pedestrian for most of the game.
He was not. He wasn't the reason they won.
No.
He was but just the team as a whole, very athletic, very deep. Towns had a great game as well.
How about this? Jazz fans, look away. Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert are in the conference finals together, and they're not for your team though.
Whoa,
2 guys the Jazz sort of gave up on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a complete team. It really. McDaniels too had a quiet 23.
Size. They come at you big. And Jokic was just absolutely. He was gassed. I think he makes. Gassed. I think there was a little bit of a little blueprint there. You throw just big body after big body after big. Rudy Gobert, he had his way with him a couple of times, but Gobert's just on you all the time, banging you on you. Then they bring in Naz, and that was a lot for him to handle. And I don't know that was a hell of a performance.
Yeah. I love the refreshing. We've been talking about this. The NBA playoffs have felt very refreshing.
Oh, absolutely.
And here we are, the Final Four. I mean, hell, in the Western Conference, we're going to get a new face in the finals for the first time in a long time. Either it's going to be Dallas, which, by the way, remember when Kyrie Irving was such a problem and you didn't want to have him on your team and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to Dallas, and people are like, "Oh, that's never going to work." And guess what? It's the greatest fit that Kyrie Irving has had since he played with LeBron. And him and Luka just work. And now Dallas in the conference final versus Minnesota. That's so refreshing on the West side.
Yeah.
And in the East, I mean, Boston had the easiest ride to the conference final, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But let's be real. The East was down this year, and Boston was by far the best team all year long. And so I love the story that Indiana's there. And I guess I'm going to be part of the brigade that's not giving Indiana a shot, but hard to go against Boston there.
They shot 76%. And maybe a great effort by Anunoby. Did I say that right?
Anunoby. OG Anunoby, I believe it is.
He gave it a try.
I respect it.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been on the floor. That's got to be a coach's decision. You got to say, hey, man, you don't have it. They get 4 buckets early.
We have these discussions all the time though about NBA players don't play through stuff, and that's been like a knock on them. And that's why I was saying I respect that he gave it a try, but he just clearly had nothing to offer. The Knicks, listen, the Pacers just took it to him. And so the Pacers deserve credit. 2 things can be true. The Knicks also they ran out of bodies. They just ran out of bodies.
Yeah. I think it's great to have fresh faces. Who you got though? I got the Timberwolves. I'm going to stick with the Timberwolves. I said they were going to win the title. I'm going to stick with it. I think the Timberwolves win the title. I think
I do have Minnesota and Boston in the
final. You got Minnesota and Boston? Okay. And then I don't know, man. I think Boston's a little too soft. I don't know.
Well, I will say I don't think Boston will have played a team nearly the caliber of what Minnesota's have to play to get there.
And I think Indiana's going to give them problems. I think Indiana's going to give them problems. I think that'll go at least 6 or 7 games.
I have to see what happens with Porzingis too.
Yeah. I'm not sure he's going to play. The Kansas City Star, the Kansas City Star, the long tenured newspaper of Kansas City, called for Harrison Butker to be fired, to be canceled, which is bad enough. But not only that, they said it would be refreshing for the Chiefs to sign a female kicker. And there are 2 of them already in college, and they're on their way up, and that's what they should do. They should get rid of Harrison Butker and get a female kicker because of the speech he made. A major newspaper in America making that their stance, which, God bless you. I love the fact that we have freedom of speech and you can say some really dumb shiz like that. What an absolutely moronic take. But thank you very much from the Kansas City Star, which is probably why you soon will be out of business. I'm shocked they're still even in business. You imagine actually printing that in a newspaper like it's something that should actually happen because for whatever reason you think that's a good idea. The world we live in. Unbelievable. And by the way, we talked about this last week about the speech. There's a lot of stuff in that speech that I'm not down with, but there's a lot of stuff in that speech that I am. And the fact that this guy gets censored and censured by the NFL, that they put out a statement with all the other crap that they support without putting out statements, the NFL is the reason that they need to take a hard look at themselves and stop pandering. It's, in my mind, unconscionable that they would put out a statement like that, but whatever. The Leafs hired Craig Berube. What do you think?
He was the biggest name on the market. You knew that Toronto was going to go big game hunting.
Yeah.
So they bring in Berube, but I think Toronto has other things to worry about their roster before they worry about the head coach necessarily. Too top heavy. They got to break.
They are freaking dumpster fire.
They just got to break up that. They got to break up at least. They got to take one of those guys out of that core. At least one of them's got to go.
You look at that core and what they've been able to do, but just look at the way they operate and, the sniping and all that stuff compared to what goes on in Tampa Bay, and it's not hard to see why the Lightning have had the success that they've had in Toronto's, despite Toronto knocking us out of the playoffs a couple of years ago, but whatever.
Yeah.
Scoreboard on that one.
Yeah.
Tonight we got a game 7, Vancouver and Edmonton. McDavid had 3 assists the other night to set the table. Brock Besser.
So unfortunate.
Blood clots.
In his leg. Blood clots in his leg was the reveal today.
He's not going to be able to play game 7. He's been dominating this year.
He won't be able to play the rest of the season too if it continues. So that's incredibly sad, obviously.
That's horrible.
And the other incredibly sad story that I didn't want the show to go by without us mentioning was the situation with Brian Bertie and his brother. A shooting in Sarasota, I believe it was.
3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning, and
Tallywood Center Plaza. 5 kids shot, I believe. His brother Tony was killed. Himself, a great running back at Braden River, and Brian Bertie. There were reports early on that he was shot in the head and he was fighting for his life. I since have gone to the Times and could not find that anymore. I don't know if that's been stricken from the record or it hasn't been confirmed or what have you.
Sounds like he is. Yeah, he did get shot in the head and he's fighting for his life. And they're trying to figure out how much functionality of his brain that he's going to have. But yeah, that's just it's heartbreaking. It really is. And we had Brian on this show, about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, we did.
He was still at USF and just an incredibly nice young man and everything, and a very damn good football player too. Obviously now at Auburn, and yeah, that was I say it all the time. It just nothing good happens at that time of night. Nothing good ever happens at that time.
We had BJ Daniels last week telling us a story about how he had a party late at night and some guy put a gun to his head. I know. We've all you want to have fun as a youngster, but boy, it just seems it's ever increasingly dangerous for these kids to be out.
There's nowhere safe to go anymore, by the way. If you want to have a
not.
nice night out, like there was a shooting at Soho, I believe, last
Yes,
weekend.
yes.
I mean, and we're talking about South Howard here, which, you know,
And downtown Tampa.
Tampa, it's everywhere. You have to really I hate it. That's the country the way it is right now.
Yeah, brutal.
You know, but yeah. So obviously praying for Brian to make a recovery here.
What an electric player, man. One of the three kickoff returns for touchdowns, All-American. I mean, just one of the greatest players really USF has ever had at that position, and fighting for his life.
Hey, last thing too. By the way, the Rays Red Sox tonight back at it here at the Trop. Your boy Graham Barton is throwing out the first pitch tonight.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
And you know who's throwing it out the first pitch on Wednesday?
Oh, I saw that. I forgot. Who was it?
The Gus Bus, baby.
The Gus Bus. That's right.
Gus Malzahn.
The UCF night?
Huh?
Is it UCF night?
Yeah.
On Wednesday?
Gus Malzahn. I don't know, because I saw it. I was like, Gus Malzahn's coming all the way to St. Pete, but whatever.
Be, yeah.
But Gus Malzahn throwing the first pitch out on Wednesday and Graham Barton tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. Maybe they'll get on the Instagram, like the guy from Black.
Oh God, that's not how we can't end the show like that.
Sure we can. We just did. All right. Well, thank you, Nick. Great job. If you guys missed anything, don't forget it's always a podcast right after noon. This drops each and every Monday through Friday. So check it out wherever you are. The best 2 hours of Tampa Bay centric sports talk in the marketplace. We thank you so much for listening. We will be back tomorrow, hopefully with Scott Reynolds from Computer Report, TJ Reeves. They usually join us on Tuesday. We'll see you then.